Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Snatches and Scotch. I'm your host Sylvie Bona with my man Joe Dixon. We're brought to you by Sodarex Magazine. Big thank you to Reben for having us over here at Rogue Fitness. Awesome place. And we're here with a hell of a dude, Margus Hunt. And this guy's got an incredible story. If you know who he is, you've heard his story. It's pretty damn cool. We want to really know what makes a man tick and what he does for fitness, because this guy's one of the coolest athletes I've ever seen. I know what it is like to. I know what it's like to move for a big guy, and I think that I'm a big guy, but I'm not that big right now. And if you guys have watched the shows, I've always been the biggest guy in the show. So this is cool, man.
Yeah.
All right. So Margus, the first thing is I want to know, what do you think the difference between North America and Estonia is in terms of developing a young athlete?
Well, personally, I think I need to move it forward, don't I? Hello.
There you go.
Personally, I think the science behind what makes a good athlete is a little bit more developed in Estonia as it is compared to America. Just a little bit. I think Europe is a little bit ahead of the curve as far as it goes for athletic development, youth development. When it comes to that, because I feel I wouldn't have been a good enough athlete as a youth if I were to grow up here. I had a great coach when I was living back home. I had a great support system, and I had a lot of input from different coaches who are all world-class coaches.
Yeah.
And because it's a small area, small country, small community, everybody's giving that kind of input, and you have access to everybody at all the time. So I think that's where the kind of difference lies.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Excuse me. My biggest concern, because I coach a few athletes, and the thing that pisses me off the most is when I see athletes playing sports at a young age and doing absolutely nothing to support their athleticism. So they go and play football or soccer or basketball, and by the time they're 13, 14 years old, they're having reconstructive knee surgeries, and I'm like, they're just not strong enough to play.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things when I started doing. I did track and field first. I did, my main things was discus throw and shot put, both very heavy lifting, sports and
Powerful.
heavy, powerful sports especially. But my coach was adamant about making me do decathlon. So he wanted me to do all
That's
the different
crazy.
events.
Yeah.
He wanted me to be athletic enough to do everything. He was like, you're a kid. You don't know what the hell you want, So even though discus is right now really good for you, and it's going to be really good for you in the long run, but I want you to do this right now. And every fall when we went out and we started kind of the off-season program, we went out with the group, and we played a lot of soccer, and there was a lot of running around, and during the winter we played basketball inside and everything like that to kind of get the cardio in. So it was a lot of dynamic work that way.
Awesome.
So now, do you think it's in Estonia they're training athletes, or they're training people to be fit rather than people to be football players or hockey players?
Well, they're more concerned for the overall development of the kid to make sure that they get the most out of it, to make sure they be as flexible as possible
and as all-rounded.
Yeah, exactly, all around it.
And I don't understand why we don't do that here, because I haven't trained athletes for very long, but that's the first thing I've seen. And I also taught kids, phys ed, and the most athletic kids are the ones that just can't do phys ed because they're always hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how the hell are you hurt at 12 years old, man? You should play a sport.
It's maybe pressure from you never know where it's coming from, either from parents or from different coaches, or maybe they set themselves up to succeed really early on. But I was thankful enough to be surrounded by people who kept my feet on the ground, even though if I wanted to keep pushing myself. And there's a certain place and time for everything, and you just have to keep working on your craft and keep working on the technique. And that was the biggest thing that I did. I wasn't the strongest kid growing up, but I was technically I was a good athlete. So that kind of.
But so you had to work half as hard and do the same thing everyone else did if you're moving efficiently and you had good technique.
Exactly,
and you're moving. Absolutely. Yeah. So I love that. I mean, how do we get people in North America to realize this, and because I think we really need to change that whole system, that whole approach.
Well, it's all about results and getting the results fast. So that all starts there, and it's kind of, it's really unfortunate, but I feel that's the root of the evil that's starting to get into everything right now is results. You know, for
immediate
me,
gratification, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I know personally, whenever I didn't start producing results, even if I had like a down year, it was kind of like, you know, I was shamed upon. You know, you didn't work hard enough, you didn't do this, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, not all years are the same. So there's always a leap year, always a gap year, whatever you want to call it. So it's just, you know, there has to be flexibility within the system as well, with the people around you.
Now, coming over, the training that you went through for football, for example, here, how did that compare to your track and field training?
Well, it wasn't really different from the weight room standpoint. I was able to be really flexible with what I did with track and field and what, you know, our football coaches wanted to do in college.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of sat down and we talked about stuff, and because, you know, I was on a certain routine that I knew that worked for me, and I know that produces great results. So we were able to, you know, accompany that with the routine that the football coaches wanted me to do to, you know, keep everybody happy. So the biggest kind of thing for me was the field on the work. You know, the bag drills, the laterals, the, you know, cutting and, you know, stuff like that. That was all brand new, and I knew
familiar movements, right?
Yeah.
So is that like a skill you're trying to still learn? I mean, like, I was talking to George about this. I'm like, it's crazy that you played football for the first time in college, and now you're in the freaking NFL.
Yeah.
And you see people starting to play football like 5 years old, and growing up and playing basketball. Teaching someone the movements is one thing, but having court awareness and knowing where to be on the court or on the field, depending on what is happening with the offense or the defense, that's almost like second nature. The more you play the sport, it's like you don't have to think about it; you just do it, and you know you're there. Was that like a challenge, I guess, or?
Yeah, I mean, but thankfully I was surrounded by great coaching staff at SMU, where I went to college, and they kind of sat me down. They explained to me what's going on the football field, what I need to focus on, what I need to do, all the little intricate things. And then we went out on the field and we did the walkthroughs. We did all the different technical work that goes into it. And you know, I personally am very, you know, grateful for the track and field experience that I had in the past, because I was very versatile. So it was easy for me to pick up and, you know, take it from the medium to the field and to the, you know, field work and foot
You're
drills.
adaptive.
It's just something, you know, you can work on your own. You can do stuff, and, you know, it's just easy to pick up.
And that's one thing that I think is important. If you're overall great athlete, like you said, you do the whole track and field, but you just did everything just to be a complete athlete. You played sports. You're great in the weight room. You focus on being an athlete first and then a player second. I think that's so important, because then you can also adapt to new situations. Like if you have to change your position on the football field, you'll be able to do that because you're a good athlete, right? If that's all you've done your whole life, then it might be a lot more difficult, right? Like if you wanted to go and jump into the NBA, I mean, if you have the skill set growing up a little bit, that you could probably do that because you're a good athlete. You know what I mean? So developing yourself as an athlete is key, and I think that needs to change in North America 100% for sure. And I mean, I think the pressure is the team structure. We have teams starting at such a young age, and it's always organized sport the whole way up, and you have to make the next team. So everyone's focusing on the teams, right? And the teams aren't really developing them as athletes. They do a couple of drills that are sport-specific drills, but that's not what they need. They need overall athleticism, right? Like you were saying. So I love that. I love that mindset. I love that approach. What's your favorite food, man? Because nutrition's so important. And I don't know, do you eat like clean, or do you just eat what you want, or is it change in season?
Kind of mixture of both. Depends. I try to keep it as clean as possible and you know, healthy as possible. So, but whenever I do go all out, I mean I go all out. So I mean, I'm talking lobster mac and cheese, you know, steaks, and, you know, mashed potatoes and everything. So
Well,
cool.
For a 6'8", 290,
and obviously donuts here today too. So
290 right now.
About 290, 295.
Yeah. So mac and cheese is cool.
Now in the off season, how heavy do you get in the off season?
This off season, I was actually close to 305.
305. So you had to cut coming back into camp, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking about training. Last thing I want to touch on is training in season versus off season. When we have athletes that are like, I don't really want to train because I'm already playing my sport. I'm in season. But I encourage athletes to come into the gym at least once a week. Even if they have a busy schedule, make it a priority. Come in once a week. Don't max out. You work on, like you said, lighter weight, mobility stuff, just to keep them healthy, right? Mm-hmm. Because the whole point of training is to stay healthy.
Yeah.
So what is your kind of routine in season, and then what happens in the off season?
Well, in season in the NFL is really different because with the games we have and the physicality that goes into the games. I mean, there's most of the stuff we do in the weight room is just based off of just getting the blood flowing kind of again, and making sure that it's more like a maintenance work. Okay. Yeah. So mainly the cardio we get is on the football field itself during the week practicing. So, but in the off season, it's just wherever guys go, that's where they work out. I personally go back to Texas. There's a place down there that I work out at, and it's just a lot of different movement, different things to do for especially the small muscle groups that you don't necessarily focus on, or want to focus on. So it's good to kind of do that kind of work on
that's like injury prevention stuff. It's
throughout the year,
absolutely.
And you can throw some footwork drills in and stuff like that. It's just main thing is to just keep building on and keep progressing. So
now in the off season, do you work out with teammates, or it's kind of just done on your own?
I mean, not a lot of guys are down in Texas. So I mean, especially from the Bengals. But last year I actually worked out with a couple of guys from different teams. So it was good to kind of talk to them and meet with them.
Okay, cool,
awesome. So your partnership with Reben, kind of cool story. First NFL player from Estonia, and Reben's actually manufactured in Estonia, and they went to go visit the factory and stuff. And one of the guys in the line is like, "Hey, the first NFL guys from Estonia just started playing and stuff, and that's how you guys kind of found each other." It's a really cool story. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of weird how it came to being, because I got a email, I got a call from my agent. He was like, there's this thing going on with this company called Reben, and apparently, they're from Estonia and this and that. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I got an email from Andrew from the Reben people, and they kind of explained it to me and sent me the website to their products. So I recognized instantaneously some of the products because I used them when I was a kid. Whenever I had like an ankle injury or a knee injury, every now and then you get little boo-boos when you're a kid. So
you just said boo-boos.
That's right. That's correct.
So I recognized the product from the colors alone. I was like, oh wow, I did personally I was like, I did not know that those were made in Estonia. So
that's so cool.
It was a good partnership, and it was it's great to be great to be part of it.
Awesome.
Now I have a question for you, actually. Just that when you go back home, how are you received? And is it overwhelming if you get?
Well, it's overwhelming by the media. Yeah, I mean, it's a couple years ago I tried to sneak into the country.
Well,
I mean, Estonia only has 1.3 million people, so I didn't really tell anybody I was coming in, except for my family, obviously, and close friends. And I landed in Estonia about noonish. About 4 o'clock that same day, a journalist calls me. He's like, "Dude, you really think you can freaking sneak into the country like that?"
Yeah.
I was like,
damn it.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, the fact that they're supporting you, it's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. So we're gonna wrap it up here. Last thing I want to know is, what's your favorite music brand? I mean, genre. Do you have a specific type of music you just love listening to?
What do you listen to in the locker room?
Yeah, you get hype. Get those weights.
Or calm.
I don't know. It's not really a specific genre. I just kind of listen to whatever the mood takes me. I mean, I can listen on a game day. I can listen from Metallica through like Offspring and Foo Fighters to classical music to church music. Whatever kind of I feel like will help me to get my mind right and get me ready to go.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on by, and talking with us, man. Good luck in the season coming up. We saw the game. Thank you for helping us get over there, and it was an
awesome
experience. Man, Americans are crazy on football. We don't have that in Canada. We don't have that kind of experience. We were blown away. The stadium was roaring. It was beautiful. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, it was a great game, and it was a tough opponent. And a couple years ago, they whooped their butt in the playoffs, so it was good to get back at it.
Yeah, awesome. Got them back. All right, well, thank you so much to Reben for having us here, and check out the podcast at sweaterxmag.com. Follow us on Instagram, Snatches and Scotch. Peace out.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Fantastic.